ZOS has admitted that they do not have the best track record of finishing everything they put inside of ESO. And that has been one topic that I have talked about on the channel for years. I feel like they have these really great ideas, and then once that idea is released in content, it's kind of left behind and they're on to the next big idea. And the question that was asked in the recent AMA over on Reddit was, of course, y'all have a bit of a track record for getting things close to being finished, but then leaving it at only like a certain percent, like 85% of the way there. And the devs did respond, and their answers were not bad. We didn't really get, of course, any detail. It says they can say that they have a lot of upcoming improvements to various existing aspects of the game that they're excited about. They're also looking at ways to reward long-term investments in the game. For example, there could be more reasons to collect item sets beyond just their immediate use, which is a very interesting answer because I'm kind of curious what they're going with in that idea. But the best answer, I think, was from, of course, the new lead there, Nick Giacomino. He says it's something they've been discussing a lot recently. He says they've kind of gone over their thoughts with it internally, and he says something they want to do differently than they have done in the past, and something he's wanting to do new, kind of in the development team there, is make sure that new content is really good and complete, but also all their content and systems in general are not falling behind. It says part of that philosophy is to adopt a more interactive approach. It says our hope is to release, listen closely to feedback, and try to quickly improve based on what we hear. But our vision is not just of evolution, not revolution. Means we will absolutely be revisiting the making and improvements of existing systems. I think this is a core part of creating a rewarding experience for all players. So he's saying they're wanting to make sure that all their new systems are more complete, which is definitely something that needs to be looked at. But at the same time, you don't want to have those old systems still fall behind. And this is going to be a tough ask, in my opinion. I don't think it's impossible to do by any means. But at the same time, knowing that, of course, a lot of the teams at ZOS have, were moved on to a different project and then later on laid off by Microsoft this year. So they have definitely kind of toned that team down. And when you're first making a game, of course, I understand you need more developers working on it than you do when the game is released. After the game is released, you can have a smaller team working on it. But when you're going back and actually trying to revamp a lot of the older stuff that you've added to the game over the years that you've pretty much left alone, that's going to take a pretty good core group to work on that. Plus, you're going to have to also be working on improving the new things that you're bringing out to make sure they don't fall behind like your stuff has in the past. So overall, this is going to be I think a probably long project. It's not something I don't think we're going to see all the old stuff in the game that we want to see reworked and kind of completed and finished. It's not something we're going to see done in a year's time. It's probably going to take several years. Hopefully they can get it done in a timely enough manner to where players feel like that it's still rewarding to use those systems. That's my only issue. If it takes too long, and scribing is something that a lot of people want to see updated and improved upon. Well, let's say 3 or 4 years down the road, they finally fix scribing. But at that point, scribing, the things that you get from scribing, the abilities you can create are really not even worth using anymore. So at that point, it's kind of just pointless to have wasted all that time on it. So this is going to be something I'm curious to see how quickly they can get it done, what all they want to work on. And I am really, really curious about the one answer, of course, from Susan, or excuse me, Philip there, that was they're looking at ways to reward long-term investments in the game. For example, there could be more reason to collect item sets just beyond their immediate use. And that is something I have heard people talk about. Of course, if you have already completed your sticker book, a lot of people don't feel like, unless they just love to run dungeons, and that's one thing I've always liked in ESOs, dungeons and trials. Those are just fun group activities to me. But if you're a person that does not really care about that, if you're more of a completionist and that's pretty much what you do, and you're kind of done with an area or a zone or a dungeon, once you have everything from that area or dungeon or zone, you kind of move on to the next. A lot of people don't revisit some of these areas, revisit some of these dungeons, if they're just something they don't enjoy playing. So having a better incentive to collect items, if you've already finished your sticker book, would be an interesting idea. also what he means by beyond just their immediate use. I'm going to be really curious what they do here, because right now, the only thing you really can do with extra items or rewards is going to be break them down, sell them for gold, maybe sell them in a guild trader if it's something you can trade and sell. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to be curious to see what they come up with. Of course, like always, we kind of got the normal ZOS response. We got the answer that they're looking at it, but we really didn't get the answer of what they're doing. And I'm hoping with all this new communication that they're, trying to kind of put their best foot forward and do a different communication style than they have over the last several years. I'm hoping they get more and more into telling us some things they're working on earlier than just kind of waiting for it to come out. We'll have to wait and see on that. But leave me a comment with your thoughts. What do you think about this? Do you like the idea of them improving the older systems, or would you like them to just mainly work and focus on new things and make them really good before they release them? Leave me a comment with your thoughts, and of course, if you like the video, hit the like. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.